Welcome back. Let's take a look at the second half of the emotional sphere of human experience, and that is the social domain. The first subdivision of which is history. Unfortunately, I don't have a really great example of an institution or place that handles this particularly well. I was really fortunate to go to the school that I did and have some really unique opportunities offered to me. I got to take Native American civilization as a history elective, for instance, and that's a topic that is either totally misrepresented or omitted completely in most American history courses. I got to take a history class from a German woman who got to see the fall of the Berlin Wall when she lived there in Germany, and she actually brought pieces back of it with her and ended up auctioning them off to raise money for hopefully preventing the spread of the ignorance that led to its building in the future. It's not really looking great for the home team on that front, but it was an extremely valuable experience for me. And it made me realize that even with all of those opportunities, my full grasp of history is really disjointed. So, my current task personally is to go back and look at the entire timeline of human history and get a better understanding of what things were going on in parallel all around the world. I found myself wishing that there was a more cohesive resource for doing this, and hopefully that will start to get compiled instead of leaving it up to these really topical issues that are kind of just patchwork together. They say that those who don't know the history are doomed to repeat it. It's a lot more than just memorizing dates and regurgitating factoids. So I'll include the timeline that I'm working on right now of crucial happenings. It's by no means exhaustive, but that's what I'm studying myself and using. I find that documentaries and movies are the form that is most engaging for me. Reading books is always good, and movies aren't always fully accurate, but for getting more of the feel of what was going on and the context. I think that they really help solidify the memory and make it easier to back up later with the actual facts. And the most important part really is the associations and understanding of cause and effect for these events. So besides that timeline, though, here is a different type of topical division that might be useful. So we have cosmic history, pre-human or geological history, that's the history of the formation of the Earth, early humans or Paleolithic, ancient history, the Middle Ages, modern history, evolutionary history, the study of war, civilization, and technological development. So, the second subdivision of the social domain is anthropology. Like I talked about before, that's interchangeable with sociology, the study of culture, social hierarchies. This includes trade and economic concepts. It's about the way we actually give things to one another, the exchange of goods and other things of value. And it's more to do with the willingness and conventions of doing this, our traditions. We talk about this as being the heart of what the primary virtue of love is all about, and how it's applied in a survival sense as far as the acquisition and treatment of territory, stockpiling of resources for trade, and use of exchange as a way of building bonds between different groups. This is a thing that we as humans are able to do to make up for shortages of certain needful things and leverage their level of value or usefulness to maintain a balance of the energy that is being expended versus what is being received. In this way, we can create much higher quality of goods, technologies, etc. for ourselves by specializing and having individuals attain a high level of skill in crafting things, and then providing for the rest of their needs so that they can focus their attention on that and trade off its value. Of course, this becomes a problem when social contracts or the individual is compelled to produce more than they are compensated. So the study of anthropology and sociology here deals with the distribution and the way that we value different commodities. It's not so much just monetary value. Keep in mind that we want to always be looking at these issues from the assumption that there may be a time in the future where we don't exchange money at all. So the perceived value of something has to do with all of those other factors. So this cost-benefit analysis done well really is about weighing the social and emotional implications of value. And I have a little koan for you. That is, are you ready for this dad pun? Right on the money here. I'm not sorry. So, what is the value of not having to think about money? When you are secure enough financially that you can say go out to lunch and not even look at the prices, not have to crunch out what's in your account or if your card is about to get declined, there is no anxiety whatsoever. Your mind is free of stress and you just get what you want. Live in the moment and fully enjoy your outing. How much does that cost then? Did you really pay for it? Ugh, gives me goosebumps. So we'll go super hard on that later, but I wanted to at least touch on it to illustrate that when we study social hierarchies, money becomes really irrelevant when it comes to the emotional impact of the exchanges that we are making. It can't keep up with us, and it wastes a lot of time when the trades are not only extremely fast-paced, but organic. It flows out of us so naturally, and complicating it with math or trying to make emotional decisions based on money can really lead to making the wrong ones, as it disconnects us and takes us out of the moment. Right? Think about really organic generosity. When you have something that you can't use, like you have tickets for a show that you're never going to be able to go to, you already have plans, and you see someone, you encounter someone that really likes that band or whatever, you instinctively, organically give them the tickets because even though they have a value, you could probably scalp them online or whatever and waste your time with that. You don't really want the money out of it. It's not that big of a deal, and it makes all the difference in the world to them. So that exchange of value, money is taken out of the equation, and it just makes sense to redistribute this thing of value that you have to someone that it's more suited for. So using money removes a lot of the safeguards that we have, our instincts, our guts. It can paralyze and prevent forward progress. So let's take a look at the disciplines of emotional currency. cultures, archaeology, chronology, social evolution and change, hierarchies, stratification, gender studies, demography, law enforcement, criminology, legislation, penal institutions, administration, policy making, social work, community development, organizations, globalization, economics, trade and commerce, factionalism. This is a new one I just made up. Eventually there's going to be an entire field of study dedicated to the interplay of our different zodiacal factions instead of looking so much at issues of, say, ethnicity, race, nationality. Those things are going to start to take a back seat to our higher callings and motivations, is my sincere hope in the future. Urbanization, life cycle analysis, that's actually usually included in engineering, but I wanted to put it here because that's a term that's associated with cradle-to-cradle thinking and sustainability, and it looks at the value of a good over time. I think it's actually very appropriate here, and everybody should be studying this at some point. Structural functionalism, symbolic interactionism, utilitarianism, social networking, and agent-based modeling. So that was a look at the studies involving the external portion of emotional experience, which is our social interactions. And onward we go to the next topic. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I'll see you in the next video.